everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is David Gościk. I am 32 years old. I am a small business owner. Ooh. And today I would like us to talk a little bit about making a choice. Because at the end of today, hopefully, I will convince you to choose I'm not interested when you use social media apps. This is a function not many people use, but I think it might change your life, and hopefully it will help you choose a better job or any job and just move forward. But let me open with a simple question. How come we live in something called the information age, and it really does feel like the age of confusion? Well, I prepared a meme for this, and that's kind of what it is. What should we choose? Which is the best choice? Which one should I choose so I am liked the most? This is our new age problem because the number of choices we make is drastic. And unfortunately, yes, that was announced, I blamed this guy, a brilliant, brilliant Harvard student who quit that lowly university to become one of the most influential, powerful, wealthy, and dangerous men of our times. He did create a movement, which is algorithmic content curation. He gave us a tool that we could create an image, we could pretend. The mission was to find like-minded people. I show what I like, I find other people who like the same, we connect. In reality, it turned into something like a little bit of a fear of what to show. So we started policing ourselves. We think, are we thinking right? Are we feeling right? Are we giving enough attention? This is not good for us. You know this. I'm not saying anything new, but I think you should hear it again. There are so many things we could talk about. We could talk about the conflict of men versus women, famine, war, suicide, climate change. Make a pick. But I'm here to remind you that before you care about this, remember, these things don't exactly matter. And not in a sense that they're not important. What is more important is what you're thinking about them, what you're thinking about the other side, the other people, because that's what creates your perception of the world. Do you see the world as a good thing? Do you see it as a dangerous thing? Do you want to go out of your house and meet new people, or are you shy and discouraged? A lot of these things were literally implanted there by social media. You start judging yourself not because you're a judgmental person, but because you're afraid that you will disappoint somebody, that somebody will be angry with you. It's natural. Rejection is a very difficult thing, but I am here to postulate that this is because of social media. So let's do a little experiment. Obviously, since it's a TED Talk, we gotta do an experiment. If I asked you, what 5 things will appear on your social media feed? Could you guess? People, events, topics, sports. Could you more or less figure out what's on your feed? So let's try. Take out your phones, open your social media app of choice, and scroll for a second. I'm actually asking you to do it. Think, what could be there? Who could be there? What did I think about recently? Those things that pop up in your head out of nowhere. Those are particularly interesting. Can you guess? Up to 5 things. All right, let's see. Who guessed 1 thing that was on their feed? Raise your hand. Okay. Who guessed 2 things? Who guessed 3? Okay, I'm starting to worry about you guys. Who guessed 4? Who guessed 5? Okay, those who guessed 5 are either very addicted or they curate their content very well and they know what's there. So, well done. There is no gray area. No, of course there is. The point here was to show you a simple thought experiment that the algorithm in there observes everything you do. What you scroll, what you comment on, you know this. It is really, really, really closely watching you and has years of data on you most probably. And what it influences is identity formation. This is one of the core problems we have today with young people, a sense of being lost, a sense of being separated from roots, a sense of being alone and misunderstood. It's a tragedy because it paints a world that is not loving. It's not full of opportunities. It's not the most peaceful and abundant world we've ever had as a species. In the past, Back in the days, we had communities. When parents worked in the field, kids spent time with the grandparents told them stories, they did things together, they learned, they went maybe to church. Fun fact, the happiest communities in the world today are religious communities who share responsibilities to keep the area alive. Isn't it amazing? They know what to do, they know what to believe, all they gotta think about what they want. So the issue is, going back to the bananas, hyper-individualization. There is no identical person, we know this. But if you are thinking, what should I say? What should I show? Not to disappoint, not to make angry, not to bring negativity to somebody's life. You're removing the thinking of what I truly want. There's nothing wrong in making somebody angry or disappointed. You can apologize for it, you can take responsibility for it, but you can do it. Crazy idea. In the past, let's say you wanted a book, you needed knowledge. So you would get on the bus, go to the library, get the book, you try to rent it. The librarian doesn't rent it to you because you tried stealing a few in the past, but she knows you're trying. So you can sit in the library and read, and you get back on the bus and you come back home. But there was an intention. You know what you were looking for because you understood, what do I want, before you went to the library. Imagine you go into the library and you stand, all right, which book do I want? There's no way you're going to choose anything that will be super useful for you unless you're an extremely open-minded person. And this is my main theory. We exchanged searching, dedicating time and effort and making mistakes, gaining experiences for being given, for being offered an unlimited choice. And that makes us suffer. And speaking of suffering, who suffers more, men or women? Tell me. Do young men who are pushed into an endless cycle of hustle culture, having a six-pack, making $1 million before being 30, or women who are constantly fighting for their rights with extreme organizations, and when they do get education and money, they have trouble finding a partner because men are for money. It's a troubled situation, but in reality, both sides suffer, and we forget about this. We're being pushed into an endless game of me versus you. They have it better, we have it worse. They don't appreciate what they have, they don't understand us, and we just build a bigger canyon between us. That is a tragedy, in my opinion. We stop talking. And again, I blame the lizard man. I blame this guy. This is a specific picture from 2019 when he was going to a congressional hearing about Cambridge Analytica. Who remembers that thing? You guys do, right? That was the first big deal where our data was sold, cut to parts, and everything about us was weaponized, specifically insecurities. This is the big deal. You know that we have an increased amount of teenage suicide, mutilation, body dysmorphia, from weaponizing very specific stages of development. The reason behind it is quite simple. Facebook algorithms categorized anger-inducing content, negativity-inducing content 5 times higher than wow content. They were programmed to do this. Now, this will be a weird metaphor, bear with me. If today we received research that carrots are actually super carcinogenic, like they will give you cancer, yes or yes, you will have 5 times as much chances that you will have cancer because of carrots. You would drop the damn carrots. You would stop eating them, right? Hopefully. I mean, this is the moment you say yes. Thank you. But with social media, it's not that simple because it gives us the things we like, we don't like, and it blends everything. I promise you this is the only slide with so much text, okay? But this is a short map of stages of development of our identity through stages of life. Each one of them has unique insecurities. The biggest one is with early adolescence. They are looking for self-identity, peer acceptance. Pretty straightforward, kids. What can the algorithm do to attack this? Peer comparison, others are doing better than you, what you're doing isn't liked, you should do something different, repeat, 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 show people who are successful. That causes a serious problem. In communities in the past, that didn't exist. We had ideas, faith, we had support, we had identity, we knew what we did, we weren't alone, we didn't have to make so many decisions. And in the digital world, communities are a totally different thing. At the end of the day, a digital community is not the same as a physical one. And I'll tell you a little bit of a personal story. I was a loser, and I come from a dysfunctional home. It was not easy for me. I wasn't supposed to get to high school. But games offered me, video games offered me people to talk to, people to spend time with. And video games are very useful, but they are a step. They're not the end goal. You're supposed to get real communities, real people. I like to call myself a people grower. I'm a small business owner. We have a language school. I'm an HR consultant, and I have a mentoring program for teenagers. I help them get their things together, learn that they can achieve stuff. And I also help business owners and CEOs with different things, like with teams and presentations, language. And I always ask every single person the same 4 questions. How's your sleep? How's your exercise? How is your food? And how is your social circle? You know that these are the basics, you have to hear it, but if you neglect one of them, you will suffer, probably. But if you neglect the last one, we live in very pernicious times, because neglecting the last one from an evolutionary psychology perspective in the past was dangerous for us. Why? Well, you are food. There's a tiger there waiting, so you're dead. We are pack animals, we need it, and we would do everything we can to have communities. If your village burned down, you had to find another one. I will help you however I can, I will work the field, please accept me. Today, well, Lizard Person gave us a special place, and that special place will tell you how to feel, how to think, what is good, what is bad, and it will be controlled against you. In reality, the amount of likes there is your goodness score. It's not a popularity score, it's an acceptance score, and that is the tragedy. But David, how do I build a network of people today? What if I'm geographically screwed and very shy? I feel you. I really, really do. I'm sorry I lied about the text on the slides. There is a few tips I have for those who are geographically screwed and those who are shy. I'm not going to list them out to you because I know you can read. So here's the first one. If you want to take a picture, if you're watching this online, here are a few tips. You can always do some things online that will lead to meeting real people. If you're super shy, that is a different problem. It's difficult to overcome social anxiety. You guys are here. You're participating in a fantastic event. You're proactive. You want to move forward, but you are a small portion of society. There was a poverty report recently released about Poland. We have about 1 in 15 people living in poverty, which is measured at approximately 800 zloty gross per month, so about 200 euros per month, and these people don't have many choices. This is not an easy solution, but if you are not in extreme situations, you have to remember that social media will make you feel lonely. If you put content and you don't receive it, you don't receive approval, you don't receive likes, you will feel bad about yourself. And you haven't even left the house. It's not like a friend criticized you. You're literally looking at a device. This is probably one of my favorite pictures. Who knows what this is? The cave allegory? Anybody? The cave allegory is a metaphor of people who are sitting trapped. Oh, that's a very bad quality, I understand. And they see shadows. These people sitting over here think that's the world, these shadows moving, that's reality. That's all they know, the cave and the shadows. They don't know that the shadows are controlled by some people and that the real world is up there, outside. That's literally what social media does to you. Here's a different perspective on it. If you are bombarded with negativity, beautiful people, success, if you think the world is dangerous, if you think people are assholes, you will have a bad time in this world. Einstein said, you have to make a choice, a very important one. Do you live in a friendly world or a hostile world? And I'm here to tell you to make a choice. Say no to this. It's very simple. This is a device that, you can click. It has functions. And one of those magical functions is a choice. You can choose. Are men and women fighting in their mortal enemies, or are they trying to communicate, attend podcasts, and find a balance because no one's perfect? Is the world ridden with suicide and addiction, or do we have programs and people who actually get out of this? Is there hope? Are we really going to promote pornography and unrealistic expectations of relationships and beauty? Or maybe you can take that flower and go to that person and just, with your awkward, shaking self, say, would you like to grab a coffee? This isn't rocket science. I'm not telling you new things. I know you all know this. But because of the amount of information we receive on social media, we forget about this. This is what I have done to my social media personally, and I really recommend you do the same. My social media feed inspires me. It shows me the right people. It shows me the right events. I use it to benefit me, not the other way around. I am not the product. This is the product. You have to remember this. If you're feeling lost and sad, take a look at how much time you spend on social media. Ask somebody to review your feed for you. That is a crazy idea, I know. Imagine giving somebody your Instagram and judging what you look at, or your YouTube channel, or TikTok. I recommend it. Be brave. So, this is what I want you guys to remember. Don't be a product. Don't allow some billionaire to tell you what to feel and think and what is good and bad. Use the I'm not interested button and function and think, why am I shown this? Is this good for me? Is this the world I want to believe in? Somebody very wise once told me that the world isn't perfect and there is no balance. There is only balancing. We're all balancing. I'm here on stage. Internally, I'm trembling. You can't tell it because I've practiced. I hope I don't faint when I get out. But that's the point. Be brave. Be awkward. Forget to put your t-shirt inside out or something. Go out to people. Everybody wants to have a hand reach out to them, and that's what saved my life. There was a very long period in my life that I didn't want to be on this earth, and it was very close that I wouldn't. But I had the courage to reach out, and there were many hands to do it. And today there's more of them. But you do have to make that step. If you're lonely, fight the loneliness. If you don't have a job, search. If you don't have friends, look for them. You have to do something. You're an individual, powerful, beautiful, living human being. You're literally, like this one quote says, you're a skeleton made out of stardust, traveling at 230 kilometers a second through a galaxy. Fear nothing. And that is the truth. We're here for a brief moment. So don't allow some stupid algorithm to tell you the world is bad. It's not perfect. Not to say. We do have radical people on left and right. But if you remember this lovely curve, these are extremes. In the center, there is love, there is friendship, there is support. You have to fight for it, like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. And if you go, you will give people hope. So please, please, choose. I'm not interested. I don't want to watch this negativity. I want to have a different life. I want to believe in life. Choose the life. And if you can, find communities. If you don't have communities, build them. Find support. Find people who are like-minded. And I promise you, your life will be better. My name is David Gościk, and thank you for your time.